must understand this above all else. The mind is a battlefield, and attention is its most valuable territory. In every age, power has belonged not to those with the loudest voice, but to those who can hold the gaze of others. To direct attention is to shape perception, and perception, once mastered, becomes reality. What people focus on, they believe. What they ignore, they devalue. The skill to manipulate this invisible lever, the mastery of attention, is not just useful. It is critical. Consider the court of Louis Roman XIV. He surrounded himself with rituals, etiquette, and spectacle, not out of vanity, but design. By becoming the sun around which others revolved, he ensured no rival could draw attention away from him. He did not merely rule through decree, he ruled through presence. While others schemed, he occupied the minds of his courtiers, commanding their focus, monopolizing their emotional investment. In doing so, he made himself indispensable. This is the first lesson. To master attention, you must become the center of gravity in any room you enter. But today, the war for attention has become more treacherous. The modern world is flooded with noise, screens, notifications, algorithms whispering in your ear. In this chaos, most are scattered. They flit from thought to thought, enslaved by impulse, unable to sit with discomfort or silence. They consume but do not concentrate. Their attention is fragmented, and so are their lives. Power slips through their fingers, not because they lack ambition, but because they lack focus. To rise above this, you must invert your instincts. Learn to resist the pull of the superficial. Train your mind to focus like a blade, precise, deliberate, unyielding. Create rituals of solitude. Withdraw into thought as a general surveys his battlefield from afar. Do not speak to be heard. Speak to redirect the flow of attention where it best serves your aims. Be economical with your presence. What is seen too often is taken for granted. Reserve your full energy for decisive moments, and you will feel the shift in gravity when you move. People will turn toward you, they won't know why. But mastery of your own attention is only half the war. The more subtle art is learning to control the attention of others. Here, subtlety becomes your greatest weapon. Seduction, influence, persuasion. These are the arts of directing someone's mental spotlight without them realizing it. You must learn to read what draws their eye, what stimulates their desire, what provokes fear. Then, you use these cues like strings, pulling them toward conclusions they believe they chose themselves. Watch how magicians operate. They never truly hide the object, they merely misdirect. While the audience looks left, the trick is done on the right. This is psychological sleight of hand, and it is used by everyone who wields real power. Politicians, marketers, spiritual leaders, they all understand that attention is finite, and whoever directs it controls the outcome. If you can position your ideas, your image, your narrative as the one people cannot ignore, you win by default. The others do not lose because they were wrong. They lose because they were not seen. This is why anonymity is not neutral. It is weakness. If people do not see you, they cannot hear you. And if they do not hear you, they cannot obey. Presence must be engineered. Use contrast, timing, symbolism. Speak less, but when you do, ensure every word compels thought. Leave silence hanging after a statement to deepen its weight. In an age of endless content, stillness and restraint radiate strength. They draw eyes like a flame draws moths. This skill, the mastery of attention, is the foundation upon which all others rest. Without it, talent is invisible, ideas go unheard, and effort becomes irrelevant. Learn to concentrate, to captivate, and to conceal your hand even as you guide the eyes of others. Do not announce yourself. Make them notice you in a world driven by speed and shallow reward. Patience is misjudged as weakness, as passivity, but this is a fatal misunderstanding. True patience is not the absence of action. It is concealed strategy. It is the quiet discipline of those who see beyond the moment. While others chase quick results and immediate gratification, the patient one waits, watches, conserves. He does not expend energy to compete in petty contests. He invests it to win the war. This is not the patience of resignation. It is the patience of the predator. Throughout history, those who achieved lasting power understood this law. Timing is everything. A premature move, no matter how bold, becomes waste. But the move made at the right time with precision and force reshapes the landscape. The strategist is like the archer who waits for stillness before releasing the arrow. Rushed decisions, impulsive declarations, emotional reactions, these are signs of the untrained mind, of one enslaved by the moment. The skilled operator lets time do part of the work for him. The samurai Miyamoto Musashi spoke often of waiting in the void, holding one's center until the opponent reveals their rhythm. He knew that to attack too early was to lose form, but to attack too late was to lose the advantage. He mastered the in-between, where patience is not inaction but preparation. The same applies in social warfare. Let others reveal their intentions. Let them show their cards while you remain unreadable. The more they act, the more they expose. The more you wait, the more you accumulate leverage. Modern minds recoil at this. Conditioned by dopamine and devices, they crave stimulation, validation, motion. But movement is not progress. Often it is escape. The impatient man leaps at shadows, chases false starts, burns out his energy in 100 directions. He builds castles on unstable ground. The patient one builds slowly, silently, layer by layer. What he creates is not easily shaken because it was not hastily assembled. Observe the way nature operates. The seed does not become a tree overnight. The serpent coils before it strikes. The most lethal forces do not announce themselves. They gather, they calculate. Strategic patience is about conserving energy until the moment it will yield maximum impact. It is a game of pressure, quiet at first, then sudden and overwhelming. The longer you wait while preparing, the more surprising and devastating your emergence will be. When you finally act, it must seem effortless, inevitable, as though you had planned it all along, because you had. This skill also demands the ability to endure boredom, stillness, and uncertainty without flinching. Most cannot do this. They grow restless and break their own plans. They reveal themselves in a desperate attempt to be seen, to be acknowledged. But you must learn to operate in silence, to let time deepen your strength instead of dulling it. Withdraw when necessary, disappear if needed. The absence creates mystery. Mystery breeds curiosity. Curiosity draws power to you. Do not confuse inactivity with incompetence. Let others believe you are idle. Let them underestimate you. Their assumptions are the rope with which they hang themselves. Appear to move with the current, while you build your own current underneath. Delay gratification not because you fear reward, but because you know that the ultimate reward comes only to those who can bear the hunger longer than the rest. Strategic patience is not merely a trait, it is a weapon. It allows you to see further than those blinded by the present. It allows you to act with clarity when others are clouded by emotion, and it ensures that when you finally reveal your hand, it is not a request, it is a conclusion. You are not asking for permission. You are claiming what is already yours by right of endurance, foresight, and control. Power rarely announces itself directly. It hides in gestures, tone, glances exchanged across a room. The truth of a person, their desires, their fears, their loyalties, can rarely be found in what they say. It lives instead in what they avoid saying, in what they unintentionally reveal. The most critical skill in any arena of influence is not intellect, not strength, not even charm. It is the ability to read the unspoken. Social intelligence is not niceness or popularity. It is the capacity to interpret human signals with precision and act accordingly. It is the instinctive decoding of emotion, intent, and hierarchy. It is survival through perception. In any social environment, there is an invisible language being spoken beneath the surface of conversation. A tightening of the jaw signals resistance. A sudden silence in the group reveals a power shift. A compliment, if delivered too sweetly, masks resentment. Most move through these signs like sleepwalkers, deaf to the cues that dictate their fate. But those who train their senses to detect this layer gain control others never even realize they've lost. They don't force people. They guide them, not through pressure, but through understanding. The court of Elizabeth, I was a maze of ambition, envy, and betrayal. Yet the queen herself survived and thrived not because of brute rule, but because she read every glance, every whisper. She understood who to flatter, who to challenge, when to delay, and when to strike. She manipulated impressions as a painter manipulates color, not by accident, but through calculated mastery of human behavior. She could feel the slightest shift in loyalty before it became a threat. This is what social intelligence looks like, the art of knowing before being told. To develop this skill, one must first detach from the need to constantly speak. Silence becomes a tool. When you speak less, you observe more. You learn to watch facial expressions with clinical detachment, to notice when someone's words do not match their posture. You listen not just to what is said, but to how it is said. You spot the rehearsed tone, the forced laugh, the calculated pause. You understand that emotions often move faster than logic, and that behind every decision is a hidden motive not declared openly. Most people reveal themselves constantly. They cannot help it. They seek approval, status, reassurance. Their egos leak through every interaction. They betray their insecurities when they brag, their envy when they criticize, their ambition when they overextend. The socially intelligent person registers these cues without judgment and stores them like a general mapping enemy terrain. Knowledge of another's weakness is not for mockery. It is for leverage. It allows you to know what to give, what to withhold, when to press, and when to withdraw. But reading the unspoken is not merely about manipulation. It is also a form of protection. Many traps are set with pleasant words. Many alliances begin with charm and end with betrayal. The ability to detect insincerity before it becomes danger is a shield no weapon can match. Those who rely only on logic will find themselves exploited by those who understand feeling. Emotion, not reason, governs most behavior. Social intelligence bridges that gap. It grants access to the true operating system beneath appearances. In rooms of influence, the loudest voice is rarely the most powerful. It is the person who understands the hierarchy before it is announced, who senses who holds sway even when titles say otherwise. Influence flows toward those who seem to already know the rules. To read the unspoken is to see the map others stumble through blindly. It is to arrive prepared in a game others do not even realize they are playing. And in this game, those who master subtle perception do not chase power. They attract it.